Hello, hello, hello. This is Dawn M. Williams. You are listening to Research Show's podcast, and this is my 2 cents. This particular episode is a bonus episode we're going to dedicate to Tales from a Hairdresser. This is probably the first one that I've done on my podcast because I just finished writing a blog article and I needed to do a podcast episode to go along with this subject. This is about deposits. I couldn't believe I didn't have any episodes on my podcast exclusively talking about this subject, but it needs to be talked about. I don't know about other communities other than the Black community. I don't have too many white hairdresser friends, probably none. But we charge deposits, especially the competent hairdressers, okay? Now, I'm not saying the ones who don't charge deposits are incompetent. I'm saying I've been in this game for over 20 years. I don't got time to be playing with people. So I don't care who you are. In general, like especially I don't even know you and I met you online or something and you booked an appointment. If I don't have that deposit within 15 minutes of you scheduling your online appointment, I'm canceling it. I felt the need to explain why to people who are not understanding what's happening. First and foremost, I understand that no, it's not your fault that we experience people who do constant no-shows. I get that's not your fault, but it's also not our fault either. And it's not my problem to coddle you. I know that sounded really, really direct. And I'm going to give it a few examples before I really dive into this. When you ordered your Amazon product this week, did you not pay in advance? You paid in advance for that, for something you hadn't even seen. Yeah, it's a refund policy, but you didn't even see nothing. How about when you reserve a rental car when you go on vacation this year? If you may not pay in advance. If you're not paying cash, I know cash they make, Enterprise makes you pay the cash down. If you do Turo, you got to pay up front. They reserving that money on the card. Even if you go through a car rental agency, they are reserving that money on your card, probably more than what you already said. Like, let's say your rental fee is like $75. They putting an extra amount over there to cover just in case whatever XYZ happens. How about when you went to that amusement park? How about that? Did you not pay in advance? Or maybe the buffet when you went to the Golden Corral. You're paying in advance, okay? What about the gas that you put in your tank this morning? You paid in advance before they released that gas into your tank, okay? And all of these policies I gave as an example happened because there was an influx of some type of theft. We're not in a society where everybody's trustworthy. Why else would you have locks on your doors or alarm systems? Because we don't live in a society of decent people. Let's just keep it all the way gangster, okay? Even all the way down to your freaking ID. You can't even prove who you are at the freaking motor vehicles. You got to go in with a birth certificate, okay? 2 forms of extra identification and a credit card do not count. This is how hard even government entities have to go when they got your picture inside of their database to prove that you are you. Which brings me to hairdressers and estheticians and barbers and nail techs and all this. I can't operate my hair salon on a book full of no-shows. It's just not possible. You can't operate like that. There have been many occasions where I have had a full book of clients on a Saturday and one after one. Oh, I'm sorry I can't come. Oh, I'm sorry I can't make it. Be 5 people not showing. What you don't understand is me holding that spot for those clients. I had to turn down other people who were saying, do you got anything available on Saturday? Everybody want to come Saturday. Everybody want to come in the evenings. So that means them is prime time slots. I can't make up that by calling them people back at the last minute saying, hey, do you want to come Sunday? They either may have already gone to somebody else, or maybe they got to wait till the following week that might already be booked. All that stuff at the end of the day, I understand. It's not your problem, but it's not my problem either. My problem is I got to pay rent. My rent is the same rent that's due every single week, regardless of whatever money I make. So after a certain point of no-shows, I realized that I'm gonna have to hurt some people's feelings in regards to you gonna give me my money in advance. So this is how I started with my deposit. When I transitioned from, okay, so this is my second set of clientele right now. In 2023, I started doing hair in 2000. It wasn't no such a thing as it's rare that most of the time when somebody book an appointment and then I will call, I'll be like, hey, I'm just making sure, confirming you got a 6 o'clock appointment. Are you coming? I'm not lying to y'all. Back in the early 2000s, if people wasn't coming, they'd be like, oh girl, I'm sorry, I forgot to cancel. Go ahead and cancel me out. I can't even recall an occasion where somebody didn't respond to that. Like that was the standard in the black beauty industry. They just, clients would be like, oh no, I'm not coming down. I'm sorry, I forgot to call. And I'd be cool with that because I'd be like, good, I could just leave. I ain't had to sit and wait for a few hours for you. Whoop, whoop, da, da, da. So then I, had my sabbatical, life happens. And then I started rebuilding a clientele at a nursing home. So I was the manager of a nursing home and they let me do hair out of the nursing home for like the residents and, all that. So even though I was in a salon setting, it wasn't the same as being out here like in the field. So even then clients, it wasn't a big deal. I had a couple of people that did the no shows or real late appointments, but it wasn't like severe. When I moved into the salon suite setting and it was mine's, and I had the salon before that first, but that's when I started experiencing people, when you call and say, hey, are you coming? They be like, yeah, I'm coming. All the way up to the minute before, even afterwards, girl, I'm on my way, and wouldn't come. It just became this influx of narcissist level behavior. It was just, I couldn't believe it because I was thinking like, all you gotta do is say you ain't coming. Like, why are you lying? Like people just be bold-faced lying. So that was one thing. But my last straw before I said I had to start charging deposits, two things happened. Oh yeah, I did have somebody run out on me back in the early 2000s and I caught them in the parking lot. People would run out back then, but it wasn't like huge. But when I moved into Phoenix, I remember it was a lady came in there. Now I'm doing my dad. My dad has passed, but he was getting like a color. I remember this day. I used to dye my daddy's hair. And so this lady came. I was ready to go. And this lady was like, hey, can you do my braids? It was only like 5 cornrows or something so she could wear it underneath for her wig. So I wasn't putting a wig on enough, and it was just like, okay, cool. It was like probably like $40 or something because I didn't shampoo at $40, $50, whatever. I braided her hair. When I swiped the card, it said decline. And then I said, oh, this half about to run. I just had that really strong feeling. It was just, I don't know why I felt this, but I knew. And I said, oh my gosh. She said, I'm going to be right back. I got to get the money out the car. So then I was thinking, she just said she caught a cab up here. Ain't no money in the car. You think I'm going to run? I'm heavy, y'all. I ain't running. And then I just wasn't. I said, forget it. I didn't overexert myself. It was just probably 30 minutes for me to throw them cornrows up in there. But after that, I said, oh, nah, they got to pay deposits. And then a second thing happened around that same time. It was the snowstorm. And this lady was saying she was still coming. So I still had other clients coming. And the lady didn't come. And then she said she was coming. So I was like, this is crazy. I remember going home that evening telling my husband, I said, I'm going to have to start charging deposits. And he said, and the deposit then was $5. It was only $5. I said, $5 ain't that big a deal. He said, you're going to lose clients. I said, Umar, who am I going to lose that wasn't already going to come in the first place? $5 ain't that much to ask. So people was paying the $5 and they was coming. And I said, I'm only going to go up once the first person don't show. And I had the first no show off the $5 because she wasn't tripping off $5. She was like, forget that $5. Clearly, she didn't answer. She never showed. So that means, and it was a primetime slot. It was like a Saturday. That's when I went up to 50%. And that's my story of me charging deposits. I understand your perspective as a client. Believe me, I do, because I remember being in a nursing home as the manager. And when I first started looking on Instagram, and I would see regular stylists talking about you got to pay a deposit before you come. And me, in my brain, I'm thinking, who they think they are charging a deposit? They ain't no celebrity stylist. That's what I was thinking as a fellow beautician. So I get how you feel, but I don't care how you feel. I care about that rent being paid and me staying in business. And especially after the pandemic, where we had all these people, especially Black women, especially Black women, because a lot of us are Democrats and all that. I'm not trying to make this political, but most of the time with that audience, Democrat, liberal audience, they was terrified. They didn't want to come get their hair done. They were scared to be in a room with other people. You don't find that in, like, I live in Calvert County. You don't find that in this demographic of people. Not to say that a lot of them is Democrats, but you got a lot of Republicans, and they don't care about no masks. They don't care about, sharing a salon space or nothing. It was a difference. So most of my clients is from, and I ain't choosing sides. I ain't involved in y'all political process. So most of my clients are Democrat, Christian clients or whatever. So they was scared after the pandemic. So I had to cater to that. So in that being said, I'm not playing. I definitely want to play. You gonna give me my deposit. Okay? You gonna give me my deposit. That's just how it is. It ain't nothing personal. I ain't got to explain anything. I'm explaining on this podcast episode. This will probably be the last podcast episode addressing deposits. One and only deposit, because I already got a whole YouTube playlist in regards to Tales from a Hairdresser. But we got bills like you, and we got double bills, okay? Like hairdressers or barbers, whatever, we don't just have our home bills to pay, insurance, food for the house, kids' clothes and all that. We have to pay rent at the place where we conduct business. My products alone, and I don't even have a really large clientele. I got a decent clientele. My products alone be like at least it could be anywhere from $200, $300, $500 a month. It just depends. Them colors ain't cheap. Them products ain't cheap. You see what I'm saying? So that being said, if you're dealing with a stylist, I get that there are scammer stylists out there. Okay. And I got a whole YouTube video about that on my playlist, My 2 Cents. If you go to Dawn Michelle Salon. I get that there are scammer stylists out there. I totally understand that. But when you're dealing with a legitimate business, right? You coming like me. I'm responsible. You ain't gonna come. I ain't getting high. I ain't drunk doing your hair. I ain't cussing you out, this and that. You ain't having ratchet stuff on the TV. You coming into a clean setting. It ain't like, it is nice vibes, energy, all the different kind of stuff. You got snacks, whatever. You is getting an experience. And that being said, you gonna give me my money, and you gonna give me my money in advance. And if you don't agree with that, I understand, and that's fine. You're more than welcome to go to somebody else. That's just how I operate. I do have leeway with that. I'm just being honest with you. Most of the time, if I've been doing your hair a long time, or if I pretty much get good vibes, I know you're going to show up, I'm not going to continue to charge a deposit. It's like, ain't nobody got time to keep doing all that. But even my old clients, and then they going through their mental issues, they might be having issues at home, and they be like, all of a sudden, it be consistently them not showing up and not calling. They got to pay deposits. It's not even a question. Don't even book your appointment, boo. Like, I don't have time to cater to what's wrong going on in your personal life. Just like you don't have time to worry about what's going on in my personal life. You just need me to show up on time. And I'm going to end with this. This is longer than my normal episodes. I'm going to end with this one right here. It was a client I was servicing. And I forgot, it was somebody didn't show up, right? And I was saying I was pissed because the person didn't show up. And this client said to me, another client who's listening to the story, well, it's not a big deal. I said, let me ask you a question. You come here once a month, 7 a.m., and it takes you almost an hour to get here, correct? And they said, yeah. How many times of me not showing up and not calling would it take for you to look for another hairdresser? Exactly. So whoever's listening, ask yourself that. And that's why we charge deposits. With that being said, I'm going to take a commercial break and then I will close out this episode.
And this is...
I'm recording this.
I don't have my glasses on. Girl.
Got a strawberry in it?
Let me see.
No, it's peony. What flavor is that? I don't have my papers on, girl. I got one from Progressive Babo.
Geranium and peony.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Go, don't stop. We against the clock. Go.
Hey, everybody. I'm Lolita Clark, realtor consultant with Exit Landmark Realty. And you know how it is. You gotta have a hustle to go with your side hustle. I'm here at my girl's shop, Don Michelle Salon here in Phoenix Salon, here in PG Plaza. And it's time to restock the jewelry shop. So here we go. I'm going to restock here. But you know how you gotta have a hustle to go with the hustle? Let me slide on over here and show you the new hustle. The new hustle is Lowly Candles. I sell scented candles. They're handmade, and I make them with coconut and soy wax. And I have a lot of creative scents. So check us out. You can check me out on Facebook with List for Lolita, Instagram, and TikTok, go to Lolo C. Check me out.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so in addition to these episodes for Tales from a Hairdresser, I also release episodes of Tales from a Hairdresser on my main podcast, Research Shows Podcast, which you can locate by going to tinyurl.com/Dawn Podcast. And I release those episodes once weekly on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do intend to release these YouTube episodes once monthly on this channel. My podcast, I have full episodes dealing directly with subjects that help entrepreneurs that are released daily at 12 p.m. during the on seasons, 12 p.m. Eastern, and 4 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. I interview entrepreneurs that's during the on seasons. And then Monday mornings at 6 a.m. we have the morning crew. And that's Research Shows Podcast. Otherwise, don't forget you can just access more episodes for Tales from a Hairdresser on this particular playlist by going to tinyurl.com/Tales from a Hairdresser. With that being said, my other businesses are located at iamdawnwilliams.com. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, comment, do all of that. And as always, I appreciate you watching my videos or listening to the visual podcast episodes. So have a wonderful day on purpose.